go get them again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host, Mark, and welcome to a first impression unboxing video on my channel. Today we are unboxing from the brand of Rochas, and this one called Rochas Man Intense. So Rochas Man Intense came back, re-released in 2023 from the 2002 discontinued Unicorn. That was one on my Unicorn list that I never got. The Intense version was so hard to find. I think I started my journey in 2010-11 to try to find Rochas Man Intense. And not that I couldn't find it, but pricing was crazy, and then it just goes into the backlog. So I took out my mini collection of Rochas, and of course my original Rochas Man right here. That bottle, interesting. So the brand itself, as you can see, not like it's been here for a while. Like this is old. This is, I think, like 60s. So I have my Aquaman here, Rochas L'Homme, and then of course the newly reintroduced Moustache Eau de Parfum, and they have of course the Eau de Toilette of that, basically that re-release of this line. So not a new brand, a brand that goes with huge hiatuses, especially in the men's line. It seems like they're in and out of the game. You don't really know where they're going. Most of their releases, this is a brand like Calvin Klein, Tommy Hilfiger. I always say don't pay full retail unless you're a fragrance reviewer and you get that money back. You know, those Google checks or you know, a discounter giving you the free bottle. That's about it. Everybody else shouldn't be paying full retail, and I think this was around 100. I remember some reviewers were going overseas, like they had they had to rush and get it, and they were paying retail. Well, they were saying they were paying retail anyway. So after 20 years, the Intense is back in the foray. Unfortunately, I don't know what the Intense version smelled like. Of course, I do have lots of experience with Rochas Man here, which of course was one of the fragrances that I was one of the first reviewers to review it. So one thing about Rochas as a brand, they were basically out of the men's game. Like they weren't really doing anything in the 2010-ish realm, and then they kind of came back with a resurgence. You know, they brought this thing in, they re-released this, and now they're back in the men's game. It's nice to see, and they're bringing some back. So if they are listening, and I hope you are, because you brought back Moustache, you're bringing back Rochas Man Intense, please bring back Rochas Lui again. I think it was a 2002, 2003 release. I always, and again, it was one of those that was kind of like in this pile of, it was discontinued, hard to find, and I wasn't paying 170, 80, 100, $200 for that bottle. Maybe I should have. But with me, I allocate my fragrance money elsewhere, and then randomly you may get purchased. It depends. So that's one of those that's kind of out of my grasp. Rochas Lui, cool bottle. I think it would, coming back, I think it would do really well personally. I think the look of it, the note breakdown and everything, I don't know. Anyway, going to this, Rochas Man, the original. So this was a gourmand. It's a good cheapie in my opinion. As far as gourmands go, you know, not the best in the game, but it was just very solid. And I think some people think that this particular release is overhyped. And you could be right, but for 50 bucks or under, I don't know what it's going for now. Like I bought mine long time ago. Anybody that's old Fragcomm, you all know about the Rochas Man Challenge. So keep it tuned in. Yeah, it is a solid release. It's not anything that's going to blow you away as a coffee-based release. I obviously looked elsewhere for coffee-based releases, but is this new one worth sniffing? We're going to find out together in this first impression. Released in 2023, and the nose behind this, I didn't see much published, but I hear it was Monsieur Roussel that came back. I hear, which is a very good thing. He's a magician with the note of lavender, like in this one. and of course New Harlem, among others. He's done some great work with like coffee-based lavenders. So let's unbox this thing and see what I get. It doesn't look, the box doesn't look really different than what the original was in. Maybe I'm wrong. So the juice, more purplish, more pinkish, I guess, just like the old Intense version was. You always saw these side by side. My original is going like a brownish hue. Usually a lot of fragrances that have vanilla in them kind of darken with years. Mine is, if I had to date it, probably 10 plus years old. I got this really early in my YouTube journey, I think 2009, 2010, around that era. So let's delve into it. Again, it's not one of my favorites of all time, but I wear it from time to time. You know, there's a healthy dent in there for a fragrance with a collector with, of course, this big of a collection. So let's delve into it. Let's see what the pink juice does. I have my strip right here, and let's sniff it out. Good atomizer on this one. It's like a laser almost. So let's sniff it out. Let's see what I get. Yeah, it's uncanny how it smells like the original. Right away, I was just like, Rochas, man. Yeah. So the way this thing is built, there's no rough edges. You're not going to get like a bitter coffee, a dark coffee, an intense coffee note. It's very smooth as a fragrance, and this one is just like its counterpart. Honestly, I think maybe a little darker, but no rough edges. Very smooth as a release, as a gourmand. The lavender's just right. I hate a bad lavender, and this one does it kind of like the original Le Male did. The lavender is not one of the best in the game, but it's a tolerable one. Like, it doesn't smell like Fabuloso. It doesn't smell like a fleecy. It actually goes well with the concept of the fragrance. So this is mostly a lavender, a good amount of it. I would say almost primary, with a coffee, like a cup of coffee, and vanilla. I feel like this is a denser version. Again, I really need to, again, if I'm trying to compare, look, it's not fair to compare this to something I've worn, you know, once in a while in my 10 plus years of reviewing. I really need to sit down and kind of delve into them. But yeah, this is not going to surprise anybody that loves the DNA of Rochas, man. You're not going to be like, oh my God, this is totally left field. No. They smell eerily alike. Like, it really does remind me of it. Yeah. So is it better than the original? It's about the same. I feel like my excitement level is the same. Good. And I'm so late to the game, this intense version. Now, you know, a year later, you know, all the fools that paid full retail for this, I know that this is at discounters for 50 under. Perfect pricing for this kind of thing. Especially if you're new to the game, the noobs out there that are looking for like a gourmand fragrance, that don't want to spend $100+, you know, these designer fragrances now, these brands, like the Dior's and the Givenchy's, the Armani's, the Chanel's, the list goes on. The more brands, I remember back in the day when a Dior and a Chanel would be the only two brands that would be 120 or more. In some releases, you know, you could find them a little less. Now almost everybody's like brand new releases, Le Male, all that kind of stuff, 130 at discounters. And again, I'm going Canadian, so my American friends, I'm sorry, but 130 to 180 if you want the big boys. So this is a huge, like at a discounter, 50 bucks. I can't complain. Like, very good lavender, doesn't smell like dish soap, doesn't smell like a fleecy. The coffee's good, not great. It's gourmand. So if it's your first gourmand, I don't know. I'd recommend it. Good vanilla here, nothing too crazy. Again, a lot of Le Male like feeling to it, because it really feels like that old school vanilla, like not too sweet, not too crazy. I'm just right. Like an old school vanilla. And I feel like that's second in command with a little bit of splash of coffee in there, like almost creamy. And they list cappuccino as the note, not coffee. And I could see that because it's like a creamy, and these coffee notes, and they have it in the Amen Pure Coffee, that the coffee note is synthetic, but it can remind the user a little bit of a chocolatey quality than a coffee quality. It goes in that direction. Very gourmand, warm, comforting. I feel just perfect as a gourmand, not too sweet, not too crazy. Yeah. Is it, would I recommend this for users that have this one? You know, why would you? That's where I'm at right now. Again, very early in the testing, but why would you? Sweet coffee, not roasted, not bitter, not crazy, not walking into a Starbucks type of thing. A little bit of wood, a little bit of woods in here. It has a little bit of powdery aspect from the vanilla. A little bit, again, like lemon, like the vanilla in here, so uncanny that it smells like the original Limal a little bit here. Very smooth though. Okay, so Rochas Man Intense. I'm happy to have it in my collection finally. It was a unicorn. I felt like the 2002 edition, I was never gonna get it. I really kind of gave up on it. I wasn't really searching out for it, but when this was announced, not that I was jumping for joy or jumping at the opportunity, like go buy it overseas for 120 bucks, and it was under 50 bucks, and that was on fragrancebuy.ca. And yeah, again, that was Canadian. So my American friends, this is probably like 35, 40 bucks for you. Yeah, you can't go wrong. It might be one of those that once you build your collection, it's going to get lost in the shuffle. But if you're new to the game, you're looking for like a coffee-based scent, but you don't want to break the bank, you know what? I'm trying to think of something that would be around $50 to $100, like a little more, but you could splurge a little more and you get a little better. I can't even think of one right now personally. You'd have to almost go into the niche territory. I'm trying to think of a coffee-based set that's actually worth the price more for this than this. Blending's good. If it's Roussel, it feels like Roussel. It feels like this. It feels like it's built like that. I love the smoothness in here. So now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below, good, bad, ugly. You agree, disagree with me? Do you get anything else out of this release? For me, again, if you own this and you're looking into this and you're looking for maybe something a little different, I don't know. I didn't do my side-by-side yet. Maybe I should. But right now, my initial impression is like, don't waste your money. They're like my immediate thought process when I smelt this was like right away, it smelled like the original. So I can't wait to delve into it more. Maybe it's going to be darker, more interesting in the back end, but you know, what you see is what you get. Like a lot of these designer fragrances, like a lot of the back end notes here are front and center already. The vanilla, the cedar, the woods, and this cappuccino accord. You can smell it already. So I don't know how this is going to change that much. And as always, a great pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your coffee-based fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.